I started playing MCOC in late July, beginning of August 2025 after being put on the game by a friend, and since then I've played over 700 hours, and I hit Valiant at the start of March 2026 after so much hard work. I'm pretty proud of myself, my friend is too, and today I will be talking about the pros and cons of the game from the perspective of a new player. I hope you enjoy. Firstly, the sheer amount of content that is available in this game is truly staggering. I mean, they did recently just have their 11th anniversary, so they've been around for a while, so obviously they're going to have a lot. But, like, from going through the story to newer modes such as Colosseum, which is a load of fun, unless it's fucking Kate Bishop, I swear to God. Anyway, and all the challenges in this game and the frequent updates that this game gets, it just makes the game super replayable. For me as a new player, I have just been playing it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours because there is just so much that I can do in the game. I've never really been much of a Marvel superfan or comic reader, or I've never been one of those people to watch every movie, TV show. That's more so the thing for my older sibling. So for me, seeing all of these new characters that I've never heard of is super interesting for me. As it was a friend of mine, Steadyfang, this is his channel, a link to it will be in the description, who put me onto the game and has a wide knowledge of the Marvel verse and comics. It allows us to sit down and just like discuss these characters that I don't know, and it means that MCOC isn't just a game for me, it's also a conversation point, which is just a really good thing to have about games. Not be able to just play them, but talk about them is a really big part of what makes certain games enjoyable. MCOC is simultaneously a really easy game to pick up, as the controls are super simple to just learn and to use. But it can also be a very hard game, not very hard, but a relatively hard game to master, as it takes time and skill, and there's like a load of different smaller techniques that you can do when playing the game, such as light intercepts. I'm currently trying to learn how to do a reparry, and it just allows the game to be replayed as you just get better, and when you get better it means you could do harder and more difficult content. So I think the difficulty of the game is really well balanced. Partially going back to the point on the cast, due to there being so many different characters, each of them have their own little playstyles or gimmicks, and in a game like this, I think this helps be able to retain player attention, as it doesn't feel monotonous, as you're not just playing the same character over and over again. There are some characters who have similar playstyles or like work similarly, but they do feel different enough to where you just don't get bored when you just use those characters near each other. And it gives players incentive to get these new characters, as some are better, and being able to get more and better characters keeps the players playing, and for me, that's just great. I can play the game, I don't get bored, as there are so many different things for me to do with my characters. And it also helps out balance out certain game modes. Some characters are better for faster fights, so therefore you'll use them in battlegrounds. Some are better in long form content, so you use them in like the Necropolis, and it just works, and I like it. And like I said, some are more suited to battlegrounds, so let's go to battlegrounds. I wanted to focus specifically on battlegrounds as a game mode, as it is the main PvP game mode in this game, and for me, I find it that it's fun, it's strategic, and it also mostly rewards skill, with the building of a balanced deck of balanced characters who are good for attack, good for defense, dual threats, counters to like the strong defenders. It furthermore encourages getting and trying to earn all of these like new characters that will shake up the meta, and with the node for the defenders changing every season, it keeps it fresh, and you might want to change your deck a bit and not just have like your top 30 characters. You might want to switch out a couple of them for characters that are slightly weaker but work with that meta better. And I just like Battlegrounds. It's a fun game mode that just, yeah, I don't know what else to say. To put it simply, every major boss fight, starting from the Grandmaster onwards, I've only completed up to Act 8.3.6, Iron Man Cerites, so I can't comment on any bosses after that. However, all of the ones that I've done after the Grandmaster are so fun. Even though sometimes it does feel like you're fighting versus an entire Wikipedia page, which, anyway, it just makes that some fights are just, they're challenging, and it feels rewarding when you actually finally get to beat them, and they just are good in this game. I know a lot of what I've been saying is just, it's good and whatnot, but that's because it is. This game is just, it's a good game that knows what they're doing. Balance is a bit dubious, but we'll get onto that in the cons. It's just, yeah, it's, the boss fights are just great. Before moving on to the cons, I'm going to quickly talk about free-to-play versus pay-to-win. And in my opinion, MCOC does mostly balance between free-to-play and pay-to-win mostly right. As the game does have progression-based purchases, which means that a new player who wants to try and pay to get further and get stronger, they will actually have to play the game to be able to unlock those higher tier purchases. However, once those players have reached like the highest tiers, like pay to win, if it just massively outscales it, as it should. You know, if you are putting real life money into a game, you should be getting some benefit from it. But sometimes it just does feel a bit unfair when, let's say you're playing Battlegrounds and you're like the highest tier, you're in like Vibranium, Gladiator Circuit, and you play against someone who just wails out so much money, and they just absolutely dick on you with a bloody rank 5 Sig 200 Deathless Thanos or Ant-Man Future or Imperiosa. It just feels unfair sometimes when there's just nothing you can do, and obviously you can make it up with skill, which is really good. It just is a lot harder and could just be really frustrating sometimes. The balance of this game is questionable at best, as there is a absolutely massive difference between the characters that are like the best of the best and the really good characters, which I think shouldn't really be the case, and how entirely like new characters or like certain roles being bounced around encountering specific characters the Mystic Class and Serpent. Anyway, it doesn't help that some of the meta characters such as Ant-Man Future are locked behind a paywall, at least as their 7-star, and their counters also being locked behind a goddamn paywall. It's just, I find that the balance of this game is worse than that of League of Legends and Marvel Rivals combined, both of which the games have already got pretty shitty balance. Anyway, TLDR, the balance is pretty shit. This could just be a bit of a pet peeve of mine, or it could just be me being bad at the game, but the AI on occasion can just be incredibly irritating, usually with certain characters having an annoying AI. I am looking at you, Enchantress. Your AI. I hate your AI. You're an easy character to fight against, but your AI can get so annoying. There's that, and the AI just occasionally throwing random light attacks when you dash in, and refusing to throw special attacks, so the game gets stalled because you don't want to push them to a special 3, which is kind of obvious. And that last one gets super annoying in Battlegrounds. Fuck the AI of this game. I only really have one big issue with the cast of this game, as I know I did have it as a pro, but I have a few issues with it, like I said. And despite my liking of giving obscure characters the limelight and me being able to learn about them, I find it frustrating that you have a character like Black Widow who is absolute booty cheeks and sucks in the game, but Yelena Belova is one of the best skill characters, despite them fulfilling like very similar character roles and being like, I don't know if it's like this is just the MCU or if like they're actually adopted siblings in the comics, I don't know. I'm not going to go through all the characters that I do have an issue with, because there's quite a few. But the general point is that me as a player playing this game, I want to be able to kick ass with Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Iron Man, but instead I have to use Yelena Belova, Kate Bishop, Ironheart, Serpent, like so on and so forth. Like, who knows these characters? Until you've played this game, like, who knows these characters? It's just, this just kind of go back to the game being an imbalanced piece of shit. But I thought that the fact that it's specifically like the obscure characters, just all of them being the best of the best, should kind of be its own category. Now, I'm not saying that every good character should be a well-known character, but like, balance it out between the obscure characters and the well-known characters. Overall, I absolutely love MCOC, and it's a great game that I think people should pick up due to its ease of accessibility of difficulty, accessibility of devices being both available on Steam and mobile, with account linking also being available. And even though it does have its issues, which could just genuinely be a skill issue on my part, those issues just add another depth of layer to the game, as a lot of them do just add to the difficulty. And I personally would solidly rate MCOC a 9.5 out of 10. The actual video ends here. You guys can stick around if you want to and watch the end of this fight. It goes on for like another 2 minutes or so. And I will catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.